Hi everybody, welcome back to our month of Azure Databricks presented by Advancing Analytics. In this video, what we're going to look at is Spark's transformations and actions. So by default, Spark is inherently lazy. But it's laziness that's really important. Spark is known for being lazy because it has this option of sort of delayed evaluation, or what it's also known as is lazy evaluation. And lazy evaluation is super important. So if you've ever looked at Hadoop before, or you've ever had to work with Hadoop, then you'll know that Hadoop pretty much did everything in a very step-by-step process. What Hadoop would typically look to do is you'd say, okay, well, I want to load in some data, and then maybe what I want to do is filter that data. So it picks that data up and it filters it down and it lands it back into another file. Then you're like, okay, well, I want to add another column. Lift that data up, do something with it, put it down, group that data. Then I want to do something like join some more data onto it, maybe remove some columns. Maybe then I'm going to apply some kind of window function to it before I eventually land it back down. So every time I've had to do this, I've had to lift the data up, do something with it, and put it back down, because Hadoop was incredibly disk-based. So that's just too slow. That is way too slow, and it's, part of the reason, even with, more modern frameworks inside Hadoop, is why, it's pretty much going away. So this is what Spark did really differently. So the way that Spark does this is rather than every single time it needs to do something, do that operation and then put the data down, what it's going to do is you're going to do an operation, but it's not actually going to do anything, it's just going to build up a plan in the background. So I filter my data, I just add to my plan of what I'm going to do. Then I want to add a new column on, or I just add to that plan. I keep adding to that plan until I'm happy and I want to do something, and then I'm going to actually trigger that, and that's what's going to be the thing that actually pulls my data in, goes through all of these steps, and then actually does it. And that's known as an action. Each one of these steps is a transformation, and it's that last bit there that's the action that's actually going to do anything. So if we have a look here again, this is all of our things that we're going to look to do. So that first part, reading it from the disk, that's going to be pulled in. That's pretty much a transformation there. We're not actually reading anything from the disk at that point. Then we filter it, we add a column, we group it, we join it, we remove some more columns, we do a window function. Each one of these is just a transformation that's being built up. I'm going to do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, until we hit that action, that write back to disk, or maybe that read in that data, display that data, do some kind of like counting on it, something that's going to force all of those transformations to trigger. That's our action. And the way that Spark handles all of this is through what's known as a DAG, a directed acyclic graph. And it's this that is basically saying, do this step, then this step, then this step. And then until we actually are pretty much ready to trigger, and then we'll trigger. So let's have a look at that in our workspace. I'm back in the workspace here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to import a couple of functions that we're going to need. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to import pyspark.sql.functions, types, and column. And then I'm going to say, well, what data do I want to use? I've got some data here that I've already mounted, and you've seen this stuff in a previous video, how we do all this stuff. So what I'm going to do now is try and read that data in. And so you'll see here that it actually hasn't triggered a Spark job. Nothing's been triggered. All that's been pulled through is our schema. And so if we want to investigate what's happening, as I say, this is building up a plan as it goes. Each step that we're doing is just adding to that plan. What I can do is I can have a look by calling explain. And explain here is showing me, okay, well, this is going to do a file scan on a CSV, and it's just saying this is how it's going to consume my data onto the cluster. So now if I want to start layering on some more transformations, I can do that, and we can see the impact that it's going to have to this plan. So I'm going to drop one of those columns. And what you can see here is the amount of columns that were coming in here was slightly wider, and then we've just dropped one. Let's drop another. And maybe we want to do a filter. So we've got a bit more of a complex plan now. It's had to read in that data, then it's had to filter that data out where it was equal to that particular number, and then just pop back through what we're going to be actually putting back to the user. So what are the columns that we're showing? Then what I want to do is I want to convert one of my columns into just showing me the value for a day. So then we're adding that on there. Then what I want to do is limit my columns down just to those two columns now, so dispatching base number and day. And then finally what I want to do is I want to cast this as an integer, and then I'm going to just group by my dispatching base number and my day, do an aggregation and show me the count. So it's going to show me the count for every single day. And you can see now we've got a much more complicated plan here doing a whole load of different things, but every time I've done this, I haven't actually done anything. I've not gone back to the data, I've not even read the data in yet. It's not until I do an action, such as display, that this is actually going to do anything. So if I run display, now this is going to make its way through, so it's navigating that DAG, this directed acyclic graph. It's saying, okay, I need to do this, then this, then this, then this. And it's not necessarily the order that you say it's going to happen in, it's actually going to happen. It will optimize this for you. It has an engine behind Spark called the Catalyst engine, and that engine is going to take in your plan, it's going to attempt to optimize that plan, and then pass that off to the Spark engine to then ultimately read your data in and apply all those transformations. So here we can see, right, we've done something and we've got a Spark job. And we've got our data here. We've got our dispatching base number, our day, and our counts. So that's it for transformations. I mean, that's it for transformations in a really simple way. They get very deep very quickly. But to give you an idea of how transformations work and how actions work, that'll get you started. So I hope you're enjoying this video series. And as we say at the end of these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.